What a absolutely incredible contrast in some of this variated material, what they used in eastern central North Carolina. I think the lighting in here is good. I mean, if my eyes are good, this is incredible. I just have to go for it when the lighting's good, and I don't do box talks that often. But I did need another segue to get a link on that I think was so profound that it was so needed it be heard. And I have made the vow to do my best, to do my part to make things available to people that don't maybe have all the resources or the access or the know-how to really seek out people who study, people who hold to primary resource material, people who read white papers from companies and what's going on with the news, what's really happening, people who decide they're going to analyze and look at exactly what the president says, not what somebody says about the president, not what somebody says the president said, but exactly what he said. And then contrast it with his life 10, 20, 30 years ago. His policies, his attitude 10, 20, 30 years ago. I want you to know, when you're looking at these, a lot of you know, in here the acoustics is great. So what you're hearing is not damaging these points. You can see they're still in great condition. I wanted to do a little bit of a box talk. I just love this in the natural light, the variated. Now you're going to see there's rhyolites by variety. This is all this right here that you see is top shelf. That means it's the very top. There's 7 trays, but this is only the top. In the top, I put my top on Indian trays. That is a shot of my top pieces. It's staggering to me. I don't even know how it happened. I really don't. But I'm going to go through it. I'm going to do a little bit of a chat with it. And make sure you check out the link, the interest link that I put. I think they're profound. And it just stands to reason that not enough people get to hear the full story because we're too clouded down with the propaganda and lies of the MSM. And if you do not think that the mainstream media is looking and working hard to propagandize you, you're really fooled. You just trust me. I double dog dare you on any video I've ever posted. Listen to the video with your heart. Listen to at least 5, and after those 5, and I selected, I mean, every one that I put on, I've studied and listened to maybe 20. That's a great point from Notchville. Good quartz work. I mean, fantastic master made that. This is all top stuff here. So anyway, really, that's my plug here on this day, and I'm going to get ready to go and pick my son up. Just some great points. I got so many memories and stories behind here. Here's a point from the lookout. This is a little bin of Marl Mountains. I have to be very careful here. You can see I'm trying to take great care not to, and I always do, I'm anal, obsessive about not dropping these, because this is like a living museum. It's a great Marl Mountain. I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to take too long on them. Just this year, I did find this calendar year. Love Marl Mountains, even though they're common around here. I had somebody once send the comment, "Oh, Marl Mountains are there's so many Marl Mountains around here. They're not worth anything." Oh, worth? I don't really think of an artifact as being worth something. It's all intrinsic to me. It's all a signature of their. Oh my goodness! Look at this point from the easement. A signature of their life. Rhyolite at its best right here. Certainly around here, I love the rhyolite because I know it's not indigenous to this region. Well, I guess regionally it is, but not to this city, not to this area. I mean, it'll take you 13 days to walk to the only major vein of rhyolite in the mountains here. Uhari Mountains. Look at that piece. It's crazy, isn't it? It's not a drill, everybody. That is a projectile point. Craziness. There's craziness out there that's not been busted up yet, and that had plenty of opportunities. It escaped plenty of times getting busted up. Look at this point from the clay pot. Gosh, I mean, I don't know how long I'll stay here. Just some favorites. See the inclusions? Clay pot produced this quartz with inclusions. It's just good stuff. Look at that piece. Whew, mercy. So, usually every day, whether it's artifacts or running or reading or working, even in my job, I'm looking to impress or be impressed by something. Trying to be humble enough where that we can listen to people, we can keep our minds open and listen. I do go back. I'll go back and try my hardest. Look at that point from the easement again. Solid state quartz. Seriously heavy duty. And I might put on ABC or NBC or CBS or CNN. It's just very rare now because it's so belittling and distasteful that they would, in their broadcast, when they're talking to you, assume you are so ignorant that you don't know things that are clearly true about what's going on in the world and what's going on maybe south of us with immigration, the needs that this country has for immigration. Look at this piece from Beaver Point, smoky quartz. So to me, I just about can't stand it because if somebody has CNN on, there's immediate lies that are happening that can be easily cited, that can be easily, but it's not the lie. It's the fact that they have a complete disregard in that for my children's future. It's affecting the future of this nation if we decide to become as lawless as some people are willing to overlook. That's why this has happened since 2016. That's why the corruption of our government is being rooted out. It's being executed methodically. A lot of it you do not see. Trust me, a lot of it we do not see, and that's part of what the link's about. It's happening. Look at this point. Oh my God. From Hidden Hill. We're looking at the representation of 4, 5, 6, 7,000 years on much altogether. I'm telling you, what a great representation. Variated material. Points here. Point here, right on top, is from the clay pot. This is from Opening Sands. Just a great shape on this point. Such perfect natural light today, I think. So it's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. You can tell a friend, or I should say a man, I should say a friend to me, a man by his enemies. If there's a property or a church that wants to put up a nativity scene and they're hated by certain groups, then I need to love them. Unbelievable stuff. I'm impressed most of the time because you find it and you put it in a safe place and you move forward. Serrated quartz stuff. No, but in all actuality, I'm fine because in terms of interpretation, whatever I can share to help some people out there, you can mark this next thing down. This was in Sand Passage. Look at this point. You can tell the character of a man by his enemies. And, that you can mark it down. I don't care if it's our president. I don't care who it is. If you have a whole slate of people that are hateful and their enemies, there's a good chance that person is a sincerely awesome person. I'm telling you. It's just proven. I don't want to go into it too far, but you will always be able to determine a man by his enemies. You can't determine a man by his friends. Friends will befriend you for different motives. But enemies, it's tried and true. Look at these little points up here. So I'm going to get ready to finish. I know, Frank, you love these. A lot of people do, Brian. Just some fun stuff here. Variated, small points. Probably 20 or 30 in here. I don't know if I could just fish one out. Oh, look at this. This was on Election Day. I think it was this one. Yeah, I believe so. Election Day, 2016. I remember. I was at the Bear, had a little extra time, and I was just praying. Praying, number one, for this nation, for the future of my children, family, because if, I'm just put it out there, if the criminal that is known as HC was elected, and listen, just do a little teeny bit of research and you will not be able to deny the word criminal. But if that happened, we would have been in a dark place. My sons, my family would have been suffering. I would not back down. Patriots will not back down. Not at all. And I didn't want that to happen, so I remember when this little point here was found. I remember that day. I remember the time. It was a tough time, Election Day, because there were elements, a certain political party that manipulates and cheats in every election. I don't understand it. And the American people are fed up and sick and tired of it. Top quartz in here. I found that on video recently. I don't know if it's coming out. I'm going to take a little extra time with this. Look at this. Remember that? Here in the New Year's and Christmas. That is crazy quartz. What? Thousands of years old. Craziness. Just so blessed to be able to go out. And I used to see stuff just like this. I can't say it enough times in museums. And when I looked at it in a museum, fascinated, I just could not believe. Here's a point from Crystal Point, variated, that it would even be a possibility that I would be allowed to own such history. But it's out there, getting shredded and broken and busted up, and we got to do our part to save it, right? Look at that point from Notchville. Look at the color. I don't know what this is, but let's see. Oh, that's the point that I found just before I went up. It was a tribute point, I remember. And it was just before, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago or so, just before I went up to say goodbye to my father, my late father, who has passed on. And he was such a good man. I remember the day. It was the day before I had to go up to New York. It's a great piece of rhyolite. It was funny how you remember points like that in that way. Always remember that. It'll be a great piece of my memory. Trust me, that's a lot louder. Look at this point from the Cove. I know it's going a little long, but some of you really like these, so I'm just going to do it for you. Plus, if you didn't like it, you can click it off by now. Look at the base on this. This is the Cove. It's a crushing point. I mean, to tell you, what on earth? It is ground off the base, very smooth. I'm being deliberately meticulous. I cannot drop these. It's unacceptable. I tell myself, right? Look at this. This is interesting. 1, it's almost a cash. 1, this point here. Can you see it? 2, parallel flaking. And 3, it's a very similar point underneath there. Listen, they're not smashing against each other. It's just great audio. 3. Those 3 were found within 10 foot of each other. That's a cache. Not at the exact same time, but you know, just fun stuff. Now, we're done. It's enough. 15 minutes is enough. And I gotta go pick up my son. I forgot. Hidden Hill, great colors on a great point. Didn't like it half as much when I found it as I do now. It's just grown on me. Alright, I gotta go before I get a call. I hope everybody has a great Christmas. Merry Christmas. And if I don't talk to you or I don't find or, have a Happy New Year.